It's a video on the 6 purposes of yoga. So the question that this channel is really all about is like, what's the point of yoga? What's the point of your yoga? What's the aim? What's the purpose? And of course, it's kind of infinite answers to that. So yeah, it's a bit silly to say it's just 6, but there's 6 that I see a lot that I'm interested in, some are more interested in than others, and you may be too. And I think having clarity around purpose actually helps us design method. So while you can have 10 different people getting 10 different things from a yoga class, if you've designed it one way, it will serve a certain aim better. And I think as the yoga market has become more differentiated, more different kinds of classes, I think we have this opportunity to be much clearer about this one word yoga and say, well, actually there's 6 or more kinds of yoga, there's 6 or more kinds of things. I would say a better way of classifying yoga than what is a style, like the name, like Ashtanga or Iyengar, would be what's the point of it. So yoga for ... yeah? Okay, so let's look at the general purpose of it. So one could be kind of health and well-being. Yeah, general health and well-being, completely valid. I think most of us are interested in that. I think perhaps it's gone a little bit far as an obsession. Look at that video. Look at the video on this channel of are you too healthy? Yeah, or are you too health obsessed? Might be another way of looking at it. So yes, absolutely valid. A key thing for many of us. I'm not going to talk about that long. It's not really my specialism, and most of yoga is obsessed with that. So I'll let everybody else talk about that one. Then of course we've got fitness. Yeah, fitness can be a purpose of yoga. A little bit more than health here. It might be like building muscles, something like that. Yeah, I think yoga's not very good for fitness, if I'm frank. I think there's better ways to build muscles, you know, body weight, weights. I think there's better ways to get aerobically fit. There's even better ways to get more flexible. Just if that's your aim, I would say there's more efficient ways to do that. You know, I don't see, say, the Ashtanga primary series as being a well-balanced workout. I think it leads to a very odd body and not a particularly useful one. Controversial, I know, and injuries from repetition. So I don't think it's a particularly good fitness idea. But again, it's not my expertise. You know, ask other people who are fitness experts and see what they think. Just objective people say, you know, is this a great fitness exercise for my particular goal? Yeah. So what else could it be? Well, about beauty. This is a big one in yoga. I think it's often denied. In Russia, where I am now, actually, people are quite explicit about it. They'll say, I am doing yoga so I look attractive to get a husband or whatever. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of shocking to hear it so explicit. I think mostly in the West, it's kind of hidden under a spiritual veneer, but it's there. And I think, you know, I'm interested in attractiveness and beauty. That's part of my life. I hope, you know, people find me attractive. That's, you know, it's not my primary concern, but it's in there. Again, in terms of looking at beauty, you might put like social prestige in here. It might not be so much about, say, sexual attraction as like social desirability, you know, that like, look how good I look, here's my Instagram, don't you want me, I'm a high status individual. Yeah, about status, really social status. I see a lot of building of social status in yoga. And again, I'm not entirely against this. I think it's human nature, and let's be honest about it, that, you know, who doesn't want to be attractive? You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You can use that in some very ethical, beautiful ways. However, it's not my primary focus in yoga, and I think we need to be a bit more honest about this, bring it out in the open. There's also more effective ways to do it. So if I was primarily designing a yoga to, say, make me more attractive as a man to more women, I wouldn't be doing regular yoga. There's certain things I'd be doing more in the practice. Now, body awareness and health and presence, of course, really helps. But there's other things. There's certainly more yang postures. You know, it's individualized as well, of course. But there are reliable ways to use embodiment to make people more attractive. I did a whole series of courses on embodied attraction that you can do, and it's not regular yoga I'm recommending. It's also different types of yoga for different people, more yin or more yang, depending on your polarity. Yeah. Big subject. Look at beauty black belt for the videos on embodied attraction if that's your thing. Okay, so what else have we got other than those 3? So we've got mindfulness, right? So I think yoga is a beautiful mindfulness practice as long as it's done slowly and not too intensely. Look at the video on anti-mindfulness about that. Yeah, yoga can be a beautiful practice for that. It can be certainly very helpful. More esoterically, it might be the cessation of thought was one of the translations of the Patanjali. Another one would be identifying with pure awareness rather than the self, you know, some sense of unifying Atman and Brahman, something like that. More kind of esoteric, so a bit more than mindfulness, but in that same territory. I actually find yoga a very, very beautiful practice for mindfulness, but also something more. You know, there's a style of yoga I do, something called Vajrasati yoga, and it's very much about identifying with awareness. And the teacher leads that, Jim Tarrant leads that pretty successfully, for me at least, and I think most people, every class, you know, it's pretty reliable in that. I'm not doing EYP in his class, it's something else, right? It's a different aim, and he says this is the aim, and I say, great, I want to do that aim. Yeah, so we're on the same page. It's different than in an EYP class where I'm working more on the social, emotional, relational, psychological kind of realm and less on the kind of transcendent. Yeah, so that would be another one. Awareness of our patterns, insights into our way of being. So that's another point of yoga, right? Like, I'm not here really to get fit. If I do, great. I'm not here to get healthy, but if I do, great. Mostly what I go to most yoga classes for is because I want to learn about myself. I want to get insights into myself. This self-awareness raising piece for me is key. Some people aren't interested in that at all, that's fair enough, but they might want to be in a different class. If they come to EYP and say, you know what, I'm here to get skinny, I say, well, it's not really the best place for it. You might want to try this studio down the road, and good luck to you. You know, might want to lose some weight myself. I get it, it's fine, right? So it's different though, yeah? So we have that awareness, and obviously look at the embodied yoga principles. A lot of the videos on this channel are about that. Then we could have skills acquisition. So this is the idea of yoga as an educational environment, as a kind of classroom for life skills. Lots of videos on this channel about that. So if that's your cup of tea, you're in the right place on this channel. These last two are very much what this channel's about. Yeah, like as dojo yoga practice as a way to build useful skills to benefit the rest of our life. For me, that's a big part of what I'm doing in yoga. Look at the yoga life skills video for more on that. So there's a lot of potential aims and things you could be doing in yoga. I think it is helpful to clarify which of those rabbits you're chasing. To steal a phrase, it's hard to chase 6 rabbits simultaneously. Like, you might be able to put a couple of them together, 2 or 3. I've yet to see anyone that can successfully put all of those together because it's just 2 different directions, yeah? Too many different ways of pointing. The method has to be different, yeah? The focus, the culture, everything has to be different. So be clear what you're offering. I think that's also good marketing, and it's clear, it's honest to say, I do this and not this, not I do everything, which is tempting, right? It's tempting because we can kind of try and do a bit of everything, but it's like if you go to a restaurant and they say, I'm a Chinese restaurant, Indian restaurant, Italian restaurant, you're like, really? You're probably not any good at any of them, right? So I think specialization, niching, certainly helps here. So I recommend that. There's other aims, you know, maybe you go to yoga for socializing, or, you know, there's many other things you could be doing in yoga. But they're the main ones that I see. If I've missed some out, put them in the comments below as opposed to your personal aims. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. More importantly, however, get the newsletter. So the newsletter you do, is that right? In the box here? Okay. So why you would want the newsletter? So you hear about the best videos, so you actually ask me questions, you can reply to the newsletter, I'll reply. You can hear about events, teacher trainings, other things that are happening, and stay in touch more reliably. So newsletter there.